The Book of Supreme World Ordering Volume 5, Shaoyong Huangji Jing Shishu. A full translation and commentary on Shaoyong's masterwork of time, order, and the rise by Laing Z. Matthew's Book, 5 of 5. The Book of Supreme World Ordering Volume 5 completes the Book of Supreme World Ordering by presenting and interpreting the outer chapter on observing things, one of the most revealing and philosophically expansive parts of the entire work. If the earlier volumes establish the great cycles of origin, assembly, movement, worldly unfolding, and the difficult architecture of sound and pitch, this final volume shows how hidden order appears in the visible world. Here, Shaoyong's thought moves across heaven and earth, number and image, body and spirit, stars and seasons, plants and animals, politics and history, learning and self-cultivation. What can first appear scattered gradually proves to be one of the clearest demonstrations in the tradition that the world is not a heap of unrelated things, but a patterned manifestation of deeper law. This volume gathers the upper and lower portions of the outer chapter and frames them with materials designed to help the reader follow their logic. A substantial interlude on the outer chapter as a map of manifestation, notes on the body as folded cosmos, and the one pattern behind the 10,000 things, a concluding afterlude on reading manifestation, and a translator's note on the layered textual history of the work. The table of contents makes plain that this is not a miscellaneous appendix tacked onto the end of a cosmological classic. It is the final interpretive crown of the whole series. The governing claim of this volume is both simple and demanding. Visible things are intelligible because they arise according to structure. The same law that governs the movement of sun and moon also governs growth and decline in human affairs. The same pattern that appears in the body appears in the state. The same relations of root and branch, hidden and manifest, body and function, can be traced through the calendar, the organs, speech, animal life, rulership, learning, and the movement of the heart-mind. This is not presented as decorative symbolism. It is the method of the text. The outer chapter teaches the reader to see multiplicity without losing the one pattern that bears it. That is what makes Volume 5 so important. It shows that Shaoyong was never merely a number theorist, a calendar thinker, or a writer of historical speculation. He was a reader of manifestation. The observing things materials are described in the translator's source note as the most concentrated statement of his philosophical outlook, treating not only image, number, polarity, and structure, but also learning, moral life, historical process, political legitimacy, bodily correspondence, and the relation between hidden principle and visible form. These chapters are therefore not marginal leftovers. They are, in a very real sense, the theoretical spine of the whole project. This volume also addresses the textual life of the work with unusual honesty. The translator's note explains that the Book of Supreme World Ordering survives through composition, lecture material, family transmission, editorial arrangement, commentarial expansion, and later canonization. The outer chapter in particular bears the marks of spoken exposition, remembered dicta, and disciple transmission rather than polished authorial treatise. But that does not diminish its importance. On the contrary, it makes the volume one of the best windows into the living movement of Shaoyong's thought. It preserves not only doctrine, but the habit of mind by which doctrine was applied to number, nature, politics, body, history, and moral life. Volume 5 is